way that I felt when I didn't like myself. I didn't like my life. And most of that was in my early 20s. And I didn't like myself because I wasn't facing my fears. I wasn't facing the truth in my life. And I knew I wasn't. And I couldn't admit that to myself. I was so insecure, but I couldn't admit it. That was one of the biggest problems I had. I couldn't admit that I had social anxiety. I couldn't admit that I weren't comfortable around most people. I couldn't admit the fact that I wasn't facing my fears with women. I wasn't asking women out because I was so afraid they'd reject me. I was so afraid that they wouldn't love me. I was so afraid that they wouldn't think I was good enough, and I just didn't want to deal with that. So rather than take that risk and be a man and a gentleman and face that fear and ask a woman out, I just pushed it away. And I hanged out with losers. I hanged out with people that I didn't like, and they didn't like me. We didn't like one another. It was fake. And that was to kill me inside, going to sleep at night knowing that I'm hanging out with people that don't really like me and I don't really like them. And it used to make me feel ashamed. I felt so ashamed. And I wasn't facing my fears of traveling. I had so many invitations to go to France, to go to Ireland, and I didn't do it. I chickened out, I made excuses. I found a way to judge other people and say, I don't want to go with them, they're miserable or they're moody. It wasn't, they weren't moody, it was me. I didn't want to get on a plane, I was afraid of traveling to new countries because I was afraid of meeting new people in case it got awkward and they thought I was weird and they thought I was a terrible person. So all these fears that I dealt with, I was afraid of my financial fears. I was broke most of my life and I did low paid jobs and I hated myself for it and I felt ashamed. And I didn't want to grow some balls and be a man and start a business and face that fear of rejection and do sales. I was afraid of it because I thought people that made money were bad people, that they weren't honest, that they were tricking people. And a lot of that wasn't true, but that was my ignorance. That's how I got out of it. Well, I don't want to make a lot of money because people that make a lot of money are not good people and I'm a good person, so I'm going to stay poor. That was bullshit. That was absolute bullshit, and I knew it was deep down because it's got nothing to do with the amount of money you got. It's the type of person that you are. You can be broke and be the nicest person on the earth. You can have millions and be the kindest person. It's not about the money, it's about the character. And back then, my character, I was a pussy. I was a complete weakling. I let people walk all over me, and I knew it. And it used to eat me up inside. It used to destroy me. Now I was ashamed of all the things I'd done. I slept with prostitutes. I had an addiction to that. I spent a lot of money. It used to make me feel terrible, because I was just dying for closeness from women. I was dying to be loved. And these things made me feel terrible about myself after. All these negative addictions. And I was quite embarrassed about my addiction to eating junk food. I spend all my money on chocolates, cakes. I knew what all that was doing. That was to numb my pain. That was to numb the pain of not facing my fears, not taking responsibility, being addicted to being comfortable and hiding in my flat. When you hear that story out loud, when you hear it out loud, there's no wonder that was destroying me inside and making me suicidal every day, making me want to kill myself. But I was afraid to do it. I didn't want to die. But I didn't want to live the way that I was living, and I was afraid of changing. I was afraid of every direction. I was afraid of where I was. I was afraid to jump into the unknown and just give it a shot. So I couldn't respect myself because I wasn't trying. I couldn't build nothing on that. I had no foundation of truth, honesty, authenticity, or success or confidence because I wasn't trying. I weren't trying, I was existing, but I was dying inside, and I knew that. And this voice in my head would tell me this. It would tell me everything I'm saying out loud that everyone hears. That's what this voice would say to me. You ain't facing nothing. You're a coward. You're a shameful person. If people knew all this stuff about you, you'd be destroyed. And of course, I tried everything I could to hide this stuff from people. Obviously now, where I'm at now, I realize people don't really care. People are dealing with their own stuff. Most people now, when I say all this stuff, they're inspired by it, because obviously to stand here and say these things, it takes every bit of courage. It's not easy. Even though I've overcome all this stuff, still not easy for me to say this and talk about myself in such a way where it's not a nice way to speak about yourself. But that's where I started. That's not where I am now. And I've overcome all those things. I've certainly faced them all. So dealing with that was so hard. It was so hard being me. And it's a contradiction. Despite that low self-esteem, you can hear it in all my story back then where I was. I still had confidence in myself. And that's what used to make me hate myself and feel so sad. I used to feel so lonely, because it was like, why are you living like this when you could be living so much better? Why are you not asking women out when you can do it? What is stopping you? Why are you so afraid of people? Why are you so afraid of them caring about what they think about you? They don't know you. Why do you care so much? I'd kind of battle with myself and say, why are you not speaking when you speak really well? Why are you not making friends when a lot of people do like you? Such an internal battle that I had. It was like battling with an angel and a devil. It really was like that. It was like battling good and evil. And at that time, I didn't have the strength to overcome the evil, the negative. I just couldn't find it in my own heart. I couldn't do it. Every time I tried, anxiety would come up, panic attacks would come up, sleepless nights, addictions, horrible tormenting thoughts, and I'd say, no, I can't do it. I'll just give in. I'll give in to the bullying thoughts, and I wouldn't do new things. And that's why I felt lonely for so much of my childhood and 20s, because I weren't being exciting, living fearlessly. I weren't doing it. So I had to get to a point where it was absolute agony. And that's when I started praying. I started praying to Jesus, and God said, please help me. And that's when my prayers were answered, and I heard a message from Les Brown. And he said a couple of words that just freed me, at least for that moment, and made me cry. And he said, you will fail your way to success. And when he said that, it's like I didn't feel ashamed anymore of who I was, my fears, my insecurities, all my insecurities, my financial insecurities, my deep insecurities with women, and my insecurities with myself, not being comfortable in my own skin, not being comfortable with me and with how I live and what I've achieved, which was zero at that time. Or at least I thought that. So when Les Brown said, I basically heard this in my head. He basically said to me, it's okay to be who you are and feel the way you're feeling. It's okay that you failed. Keep going, and you can change your life. It's possible. And when he shared his story about feeling dumb at school, I felt dumb at school and being called the dumb one, and the kids laughing at him. The kids laughed at me. They called me dumb. It made me feel dumb. It made me feel disgusting and ugly and unattractive. I connected, and obviously I trusted Les Brown, and I was right. And I went out, and he said, you've got to be relentless. You know, you can't just read books and download audio books. You've got to face your fears. You've got to get uncomfortable, and you're going to be disappointed, and people are going to doubt you, and you're not going to succeed straight away in business, in relationships. You're going to get rejected, and it's going to hurt. But you've got to get, you know, he said, when you land on your back, if you can look up, you can get. And this made sense to me, because really, I knew deep down I needed to do what he was saying. But it was like he gave me the approval that I needed. He gave me the encouragement. I felt that. Hearing that Les Brown motivational video, I said, F this, I ain't living like this no more. I don't care what people think, or I'm going to choose to not care. I'm facing my social anxiety. I'm facing my anxiety of going to the gym. I'm going to face my career anxiety, all my anxieties. I'm going to face all these things. I'm not going to stop. And that's what I did. And through that process, I started to like myself. And the reason why I liked myself, because I faced my fear, and that made me like myself. I know that might sound crazy to people, but when I didn't face my fear, I hated myself, because I hated being a coward and living as one. But when I faced my fear, I was the opposite of a coward. I don't know what the word is. I suppose hero. That sounds a bit cheesy, but it doesn't really matter what the word is. It's how I felt. I felt the feeling that I was searching to feel the majority of my life. And that feeling was a sense of confidence and being happy in my own skin and being proud of myself for being brave and putting myself in those situations that were scary and uncomfortable and getting through them and making it to the next day and saying, right, that wasn't that bad. I quite enjoyed that. I'm gonna have a go at that again and again and again and again. And that momentum coming. And of course, not just, most of it was how it made me feel, which was amazing, on top of the world. And it took away all my shame. And David Goggins is right. You don't care what people think when you're facing the suffering in your own life, when you keep doing it. It takes time to get to that point. But he's right, because that's what happened to me. It's completely true. You don't care because, okay, let's use love, because that's the word I can think of right now. You love yourself. You like yourself. You like how you're living. So you don't need them to love you and like you. Where when you're not facing your fear, you're so broken that you need people to love you all the time. You need reassurance. You need approval. You need compliments. You need good eye contact, good facial expressions. You need, you need therapy. You need a parent. The list just doesn't end. It's just a tragedy. But when you're facing it yourself, it's like you become your own parent. I became a man. You know, you can parent yourself. And I'm not saying when you love yourself that you don't still want some healthy love from people. Of course you do, but not as much. And you get it anyway. It's crazy. When you love yourself and you're happy and you're living fearlessly, everybody, well, not everybody, but most people want to be nice to you. People like you because they sense that you like yourself. So you get it anyway. But when you don't like yourself and you're down and depressed and you hate yourself and you're angry, people are like people are weary. That's how they were of me. They don't really, they feel funny around you, and they give you back what you project. They're kind of like distasteful, unless it's obviously your parents and close friends, but the majority of people, right? So having understood all these things and having reflected on these things, it comes back to the teaching. I'm like, I know what I teach works. It hasn't changed, and that's what you guys have got to do. And it's, you look, hear my story, man. Feel my heart. It's not comfortable for any of us, even for me now, even though I've done it and succeeded. Even when you succeed, it's still not easy to talk about these things. But I want to inspire more people, so I haven't got any choice. I can't inspire other people, you guys watching. I can't help you to open up if I'm not going to do it. You're not going to do it. You're not going to trust me. You ain't going to feel comfortable to do it. You're not going to feel safe. So it's good to get this out. It really is. It's like a therapy session for me. And you know, a therapist needs a therapist, and a confidence coach needs a coach sometimes. So I'd recommend any teacher doing this exercise. This is brilliant. This is what keeps me confident, and it gives me the strength to help my clients every now and then. So when you guys see me work the bag doing the boxing, it's therapy for me. It helps me to stay sane in a world that's crazy. So I can't believe what I've done. I stand here now at 39 thinking, I can't believe what I've achieved. Part of me don't believe it. It's like I'm in a dream. You've got to pinch me and wake up. I can't believe that I got on a plane and I went to Germany on my own. I couldn't do it for so many years. I can't believe that I got on a plane with Junior and I went to Poland and Prague, because I was terrified to do this with people, and I did it and I was great. I can't believe that I built a successful business. Part of me doesn't want to believe it. That's the old self. The old self don't want to believe it. You know, the demons, they try and bring you down, and I'm not going to let them bring me down. I'm going to fight the good fight. So I can't believe, you know, how can I say this without I'm not being big-headed, but I can't believe that I've had a girlfriend before. It's kind of hard to believe. You guys probably can't believe I'm saying it because of how you see me and whatever you think. But I can't believe I've done it, and I can't believe that I've made the money I've made. I've spent a lot of money on Chinese meals, takeaway food and protein bars, but nonetheless, I can't believe what I've done. I can't believe how much coaching I've sold. I can't believe I've done it. But I had the guts to do it. I had the guts to step up and stop caring and focus and face it. And I can't believe the rejections. I don't know how I'm still standing. I've overcome mental illness. I was in a mental hospital in 2017. I've overcome that. I can't believe I've done these things. I got knocked out in my first boxing amateur fight. That was embarrassing in front of everyone. My brother, my brother's friends. But I've done it, and I'm still standing. I won't quit. It's how I'm made, because I can't go back to the way I was, and I want to help more of you to go forward, of course. So, you know, you don't have to appreciate what I'm doing, but it would be nice, because I'm sacrificing myself, putting myself out there to help so many of you. I don't know why I'm laughing. Oh man, it's great therapy this. Try it, guys. So that's why I tell myself that you've got to face it, and it's not going to be comfortable. And you can't learn this stuff by watching the videos alone, reading books. Don't do it. The people online, they're not honest. I've been saying it for years. Most of them are not honest. There's only a few that are honest that I listen to and relate to, people like David Goggins, and there's a few more. But they're not honest. They go on like you just do a method, and then all of a sudden you've got no social anxiety. It's just a load of bollocks. And if you want to believe that, then that's entirely up to you. But I know it's not the truth, because I've succeeded, and I've gone through the journey and the process, and I'm still going through it on a day-to-day basis, and I've worked with hundreds of people. Some of you that are watching me now have done my programs, have worked with me in person, and you know the truth. You know what it takes. I'm not saying it's hard every day, but if you're really going to live honestly and fearlessly, or at least try, it's going to be difficult every day. You know, pretty much every day of my life now is challenging. I wake up and I'm like, part of me's like, oh man, I don't know if I can do this, but I always do it. You know, that's the battle of being human. So whatever you guys are going through at the moment, just know that you're not on your own, and know that you can overcome it. And if I can overcome it, coming from where I came from and how shy and anxious I was and insecure, then there's no excuse as to why you guys can't do it. I'm no better or worse. I'm not better than anyone, and I'm not below anyone. I believe in myself 100%. I've got the tools, I've got the experience, I've got the success, I've got the failures, I've got the disappointments, I have the mental health experiences, being in the boxing gym, being around different people, working with Jeff, listening to Les Brown, being around interesting people, so many amazing clients, traveling to new places. So, you know, let the experience speak for itself. You know, it's not just about, it doesn't matter if I stumble on my words, it's the testimony, which is the truth of my story and my experiences with other people, and seeing what people can do when they put their mind, their heart and their body and their soul to it. See, look at the way I speak. I'm a great speaker, but for 14 years I told myself I was trash because I believed negative people that are ignorant, jealous, and obviously now I've forgiven them. That's in the past now. But at that time, I didn't really understand people's behavior and why they were nasty for no reason. So you feel good when you face it, you know. A huge part of our self-esteem, yeah, believe in yourself, great. But you can't believe in lies. You can't sit there if you're not being accountable in your life and you're not facing all your anxieties and just say you're great. I mean, if that works, great, but that don't work. You know, we're not stupid. Our psychology has to build things on a foundation of some truth or truth. It has to be honest. So I can't sit here and do a video and teach so many men and say, you can be great, you can overcome your fear, if I haven't done it. I couldn't say to someone who's anxious, who's terrified to get on a plane and travel somewhere, man, you can do this. You can definitely do this. I can't say that if I haven't done it, which I have. I can't say to someone, you can quit your 9-to-5 job, start your own business, make more money, and inspire people. I can't say that to another human being if I haven't done it, because it's a lie. I'd be a hypocrite, and I have done it. I can't say to someone, yeah, if you're shy, you can make YouTube videos, you can become confident in front of the camera, if I haven't done it. So you've got to build a foundation of truth, and you can only do that by facing the truth and living it. And that doesn't mean being perfect. No one's perfect. I think we know that. I don't even know why I say it. We already know that. That's a no-brainer, unless someone really doesn't know that. But, you know, that's not making an excuse or a rationalization. Oh, I'm not perfect. No one is. Yeah, they're not. But you need to be a lot more greater than you're being. You could be way better than you're being. And you can only be that by living it. And you can only live it in the world that we're living in today by being practical. And then you can read books and quote and tweet and all that other stuff. But that stuff without the work is useless. Faith without work is no point. So I've always had strong faith, but I've had to back it up with my actions in the real world that we live in, or the world that we live in. I'm not talking about the social media world, because for the most part that's fake. But in the practical world, where people generally are a lot nicer in person than the personas that they put on online. What else is there? I cleared most of it. So just have a think. What word comes to mind if I could leave everyone on one word to meditate on or pray on? Commitment. Like I've been saying, when I wasn't committed, my life didn't change, and what didn't change was my opinion of myself, which wasn't a good one back then. And for it to change, which it did, and have a good opinion of myself, I had to be committed to facing my fears and committed to being successful. Everything I did, I had to commit to it. If you don't commit to it, then you don't get the growth. You don't change. It just gets worse. Actually, it's hurtful and it's harmful. So you have to commit to facing social anxiety, life anxiety, financial relationships, or traveling anxiety. I'm trying to think. I want to do more videos on the fears that I face, and I want to share with you guys how I did it and how you can do it, because I always find it quite exciting. But there's so many that I face. Sometimes I come on the video, I just go, I can't remember all of them. You know, maybe those are the knocks in the head I took in the sparring sessions that made me a bit punchy, but or too many coaching sessions. So I can't always remember. Then I remember, and then I'm like, I've got to make a video. I should write that down and then make another video. Anyway, that's it. I got my last sessions there with my client, and I actually will be traveling to Germany again. So maybe I'll tell you guys about that. All right, speak to you guys soon. I hope that helps you. It certainly has helped me. Gets things out. It's great therapy. Fearless.